Alright guys, you're doing brilliantly so far this season. You're beating everyone with ease. I love it. Please do it to Western Suburbs here, okay? Like, we owe them after last season in this competition. They knocked us out. And it's the only time I haven't won this trophy, okay? So, like, get revenge. It's the exact same stage, quarterfinals. Don't let it go to penalties, because that's all they can do. But they're pretty good at it. Beat them in regular time, bump them, knock them out, and just make them all crime porrier, because it's a bit of a dump, isn't it? So just fresh them, okay? Like, really fresh them. Revenge, boys, revenge.
Party in the streets and the city's on fire.
Hello everyone and welcome to episode number 83 of the New Zealand Builder Nation here on Shaun Does FM with both the All Whites and with Cashmere Technical. And coming today, we're going to hopefully make our way through the quarter-final and the semi-final of the Chatham Cup, where we're going to start things off with a rematch from last season where we take on Western Suburbs, who of course knocked us out at this exact same stage. So looking forward to that coming up in today's episode, as well as some transfers and an Olympic update in terms of the under-23s, which did feature quite a few All Whites players for New Zealand. And do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also consider hitting that subscribe button and turning that notification bell on as well. It is greatly appreciated. But at the end of last week, we did take on Papua New Guinea in the OFC Nations Cup final here in 2032. So if you missed that one, I'll leave a link to it over in the top right corner. Also, I think there was a little bit of a transfer update with Cashmere Technical in that episode. Before you have a look at what we've done since then, seeing as Costarella has now left. So we do have a bit of spare wage here at Cashmere Technical, and we have made the most of that in a few areas. We've continued to make our way through the Southern League season as well as the Chatham Cup. I think we're just taking on Mosgiel and the Wellington Phoenix Birds at the end of last week. Since then, really it's been convincing wins in all of our games. We beat Western AFC 6-0 in the third round of the Chatham Cup, before taking on Green Island in the fourth round and beating them 3-0. And around that, good wins over Nelson Suburbs, Nomads, Christchurch United and the Dunedin City Royals in the Southern League. So what that means, there you can see the Northern League, Auckland City are top of that. But to be fair, that is actually quite tight this season. First down to fifth, the Central League, Wellington Olympic on top, 3 points further back to Western Suburbs, albeit they do have a game in hand. Napier City Rovers, Lower Hutt and Northern Rovers do look like they're in that fight for third, albeit Lower Hutt cannot get up to the championship phase of the National League, and we only need one more point to guarantee the Southern League title. But to be fair, with that goal differential, we've already pretty much got it in the bag. Mosgiel are in second at the moment, albeit we have to play them in our last couple of games. That's not the case for the teams chasing them in Christchurch United and Nelson Suburbs. So a decent race is going on in all the leagues, but we are already guaranteed to be going through to that championship phase of the National League. And with the situation where we do find ourselves in, we can really focus our first team players on the Chatham Cup and trying to get some revenge on Western Suburbs, albeit some different players than you might have seen at the end of last week, because we have made a couple of transfers off back of that sale of Costarella to Spal, seeing as he eventually left on the 1st of July with a wage of around £3,700 a week. We brought in some players on a free, just two. The first one is Mansour Dosso, a under-20 right back out of Senegal, who can also cover defensive midfield. We're only paying him £300 a week. 3-star current ability, 5-star potential. That looked like a very good pickup, especially as an under-20 player, at least for the remainder of this season. And the same applies for Torik Na, who is out of Ghana. Has got some under-20 caps, so those guys can play right wing and striker, and is a little bit better than Louis Rodriguez, who have become our first choice right winger off the back of the sale of Riley Rogers again. He's on quite a low wage of £300 a week. So we've done a couple of signings just to add to our depth in terms of under-20 options here at Cashmere Technical. Na is the only one who'll be starting regularly for us, and hopefully they'll be able to help us get some revenge here in the Chatham Cup, first up in the quarterfinals against Western Suburbs. But before we have a bit of a better look at that, and also who we should be taking on in the semi-finals, we're going to switch over to All Whites mode, because we've just had the Olympics and it was a very interesting tournament. I don't actually manage the games at the Olympics. I let the under-23 manager do that. Let me know if you want me to do this in the future. But I do try and just manage the senior games. Otherwise, this save might take a fair while, but the Olympics were held in Australia in 2032. We got drawn in the same group as Australia as well as Costa Rica and the Netherlands, just enough because of goal differential to make our way out of this group. Started off with a 3-0 win over Costa Rica. Chris Jones, who of course we did bring to the All-White squad last window before he got injured as a right winger, he picked up a double, and Josh Pickering scored a goal. Australia, oh boy, they had a miserable time there in front of their home fans. Did not win a single game, but that win over Costa Rica proved quite important because of goal differential. On the back of that, we then beat Australia over in Australia. Johnston from the Wellington Phoenix, Craig Johnston, decent amount of potential, could be a future All Whites option if we have some striking issues, but he picks up a hat-trick to cancel out an early goal to Brooks. So we beat Australia 3-1, while Costa Rica somewhat upset the Netherlands. Off the back of that final match day, Costa Rica beat Australia only 1-0 though. Should be being a team like Australia, but more comfortably, because Aussie are rubbish, as we're finding out. But we also got smashed 4-1 by the Netherlands. We were 1-0 up, but just fell apart in the second half. But thankfully, despite losing by 3 goals, our goal differential was still good enough to make our way out of that group. Always good to help knock Australia out at the early stages of a World Cup. Unfortunately, then we went to the quarterfinals and got beaten 2-1 by Chile, which I think is a little bit disappointing. We'll just see if we can find their world ranking in terms of the senior team, 41st, and they also have the same youth ranking as us, albeit they've probably had theirs a bit longer than ours, but unfortunately we got knocked out at the quarterfinals, did the young All Whites, but that's still a decent tournament for us, making the quarterfinals of the Olympics as well as that last FIFA World Cup. Also from our group, the Netherlands didn't go past that stage either. Ivory Coast made their way through the semis, as did Nigeria and Spain on penalties. Semi-finals, they were won by Chile and Spain, so to be fair, they get beaten by a team that made the final, but they lost to Spain at Suncorp Stadium. So those are results from the Olympics. Pretty decent showing there from some of our senior All Whites in that tournament, and especially making sure Australia picked up 0 points in their home Olympics. But it is time for us to switch now back to Cashmere Technical Chatham Cup. We of course got beaten by Western Suburbs in this exact game last year, which again is at Endeavour Park. I'm pretty sure we haven't taken on Western Suburbs at the GMP for a good 3 years now. Might need to buy a house up there soon, but the quarterfinals, we hopefully can get some revenge on these guys. And if we do, it's a very strong side of the draw we find ourselves on, because we'd take on the winner of the Eastern Suburbs v Auckland City tie. The other side of the draw, Wellington Marist take on Lower Hutt or Hamilton Wanderers. So if we win these 2 games in today's episode, I'd like to think we've got a very, very good chance of lifting the Chatham Cup this season. To be fair, that should be the case anyway with the squad we've got here at Cashmere Tech, but especially if we take on one of those teams in the finals. Hopefully can beat Western Suburbs and then Eastern Suburbs with probably Auckland City. And if we can do that, you'd imagine we'll be picking up the Chatham Cup and getting it back in our position off the back of last season. But Western Suburbs, as you saw earlier, second in the Central League, but do come into this one in some pretty good form apart from a draw against Northern Rovers a couple ago. Their squad looks pretty similar to what we've seen the last couple of times we've played them. Endeavour Park, oh boy, we're getting used to that place, as I've said, and hopefully we can pick up a decent result here. We'll just check on the injuries. We've got none. There's been lots of gaps recently in between our games, and we'll come back shortly and hopefully make our way through to a semi-final of the Chatham Cup and get some revenge for last year on Western Suburbs. And here are the team sheets for this quarter-final of the Chatham Cup. First up, the home team, Western Suburbs, still going with a 4-3-3. Still lots of players that we're quite used to from taking these guys on regularly. There we are. A couple of changes. Obviously, Hawkins comes back in goal with the sale of Costarella, and also Nara outright, since we brought him in that most recent period to hopefully strengthen things up there on that right-hand side. Extra quality option, who's under 20. Hopefully a win here to send Western Suburbs packing. And it's only taken 9 minutes for the first highlight of this game. Western Suburbs here are going to try to make their way out from the back, and so far doing a decent job. Where that ball from Villarreal wasn't too good a one. Off the back of a bit of a scramble clearance, Louis Evans can get us back in position. We play that one forward to Kevin Mina. He'll try and square this one for someone. It comes off Marley Luluai. It's an own goal. We'll take that because Western Suburbs, oh, I'm getting sick of them in this save. They only seem to be able to beat us when it comes to penalties. Hopefully, we don't give them a chance today. That is a good start. That's a pretty unfortunate goal to concede. Mina puts that one across the face of goal a little wide. Bit of a deflection. The goalkeeper wasn't expecting it, but we'll take it. An early 1-0 lead. And we've got all the way forward to the 35-minute mark for the next highlight in this game. It's a free kick here in our favour, and there it was a header that just goes wide. So unfortunately, still only 1-0 here in this game. As you can see, it's been pretty quiet so far now. Mina with a free kick. Chronopoulos gets a hand on that, and somehow we don't bundle it in while he's recovering. So a couple of good chances for us there just before half-time to grab a second goal. To be fair, we're now starting to get a bit of a 40 in terms of stats in this game. Definitely the better team, even though our XG hasn't been that high. But thankfully, Luluwai helped us out with that own goal, and we go into half-time with a 1-0 lead. Not going to make any changes, so all our players at the moment are quite fresh. No one on too bad a ranking. Will keep things consistent as we're starting to build up some momentum. Hopefully that will carry over into the second half. We can grab a cushion goal and knock out Western Suburbs. And indeed, it looks like that strategy might have paid off in terms of not making any subs, because an early throw for us here close enough to inside of their final third. It goes back there to Sam Clark, although he's a little bit loose on the ball. And now Lewis with a chance here to hit on the counter-attack for Western Suburbs. Somehow kept that ball despite the fact one of our players did look like he made like Casper the Ghost and teleported for him. But now we clear our lines and good work there from Matty Lowe. Hit that one down to Lorenzo Janssen. There goes out there to our new man in Tori Na. But we switch this one out now to the left wing. Kevin Mina does lose the ball briefly. Villarreal gets that one back there for Cashmere Technical. Be a good work from Janssen on the recovery. And now we might get a chance here while they're a little bit at 6s and 7s. Na makes his way down the right-hand side. Briefly loses position. Does quite well there to scramble and get it back for us. Plays it in to Pedro Bissi. Goes back to Na. Pulls it back there for Louis Evans. He takes a shot that gets blocked before Chronopoulos can make the save. And Lorenzo Janssen will bundle that one home. Both our goals so far pretty fortunate. But I think we deserve some luck against Western Suburbs for what they've done to us in penalty shootouts, especially last year in this competition. It's a scrappy goal, but to be fair, Western Suburbs haven't done too much in this game. Thankfully, we're getting some reward for actually trying to play some football and take a 2-goal lead. And we're just about to make our way into the last 20 minutes of this game, and I think at this time we're going to make our 3 subs that we're allowed in this competition. A couple of players on the bench who could use some game time. 2-0 up, hopefully that's the lead we can hold on to. Rodriguez can come on for Mina at left wing. Also Xavier Smith we might take off, seeing as he's on a yellow card in this competition. Want to save him up for a potential semi-final against, I think it would be Auckland City. So Courtney Perkins can come on for him, and Hughes will come on for McGoldrick. And shortly off the back of that, there is a corner in our favour, and Georgios Victoros will head that one home, and that will definitely put this one to bed, you'd imagine. 3-0 in the rain here in Porirua, and they can get stuffed here, Western Suburbs. We are going to pump them, albeit that's really the first goal we've scored that's been clean in this game, but it's a convincing one, it looks like. 3-0 with about 20 minutes left. And we've just made our way into the last 5 minutes of this game. It's been pretty much one-way traffic all throughout at Western Suburbs so far, with only the one shot on target in this entire game. To be fair, the first 2 goals we scored were a bit lucky, but that last one, beautiful set piece, that one. Georgios Victoros with that jumping reach gets up and puts it away. David Pedrobisi, orange injury that he must have picked up very late, so we'll see if that keeps him out of the semi-final. Let's go forward now and see if we can find out who we're playing. And I think only a couple of days' time in that semi, whether it's Eastern Suburbs or Auckland City. But either way, you'd imagine that whoever wins that is going to be a good chance of picking up the final. And indeed, we take on Auckland City, who picked up a 3-0 win, despite the fact that they had a red card during that game. And the other semi-final will be between Lower Hutt and Wellington Marist. As I said, this probably serves as a bit of a final in the semis, kind of like what happened in the OFC Champions League. We'll come back shortly and take on Auckland City in the semi. And here are the team sheets for the semi-final. This one also away from home at the Ramon Tripoli Arena up in Auckland. They are going with a 4-2-3-1 yet again. A team that looks pretty similar to the last time that we took them on, and that of course was in the OFC Champions League semi-finals. One change from that previous game. Henrique comes in for Pedro Bissi, who picked up a minor injury, just not quite right for this game only 3 days later. Hopefully we win this, and should be a very good chance of lifting the Chatham Cup yet again. And just shot the 15-minute mark, the first high of this game is in favour. It looked like they're of Auckland City to try and make their way out from the back, but that's a poor clearance from Cox. It goes to Evans, and now he gets in behind. Good chance for him, but Cox does lay his hands all over that ball and make sure it does go over the bar. So it is still 0-0 here at the Ramon Triboulet Arena, or the RTA. That's probably what I should be calling it. Victoros with a header, but unfortunately this time that one goes just over the bar. Early stages, starting to get on the front foot, but still it's scoreless. And just past the halfway mark of the first half now, we take a free kick, and that one comes off the post off a save from Cox, and then Victoros somehow does not put that one on target. Bit of a poor effort from him, albeit at short notice, but now definitely starting to get on the front foot in this game. Half hour gone, still 0-0, and as I say that, we go down the other end for a throw into Auckland City, but thankfully Clark there did quite well briefly to get that ball back for us. Thankfully lost the ball, but they floated in their far post, and Hawkins is good enough to come and claim that in there. He pumps this one deep. Poor work at the back there, and Nah can get in behind, and Tolik Nah will score his first goal in a Cashmere Technical shirt, I'm pretty sure, at least in terms of a competitive game. He looks pretty decent. Does our new right winger coming in for Rodriguez. That's poor work there at the back from Slaughtermaker, who is on a yellow card. Maybe that's something we can target in the remainder of this game. Cox comes out. Probably should have stayed in his area. And we take a 1-0 lead, 10 minutes shy of half time. And within the couple of minutes left in the first half of this one, we're going to get one more highlight here, and we are on the attack starting to make our way into the Auckland City final third, albeit briefly lose position. They clear it deep, but thankfully we can win that back over Stipe Ukik. That's a bit of a surprise with his good jumping reach. Now Nah makes his way inside the box. Zovko will bring him down. So Nah here having a big impact in his second game for the club, and a chance here from the spot. We'll see who's taking penalties. It is Lorenzo Janssen. He will put this one away. Cox goes right, almost gets there, but not quite big enough, and we make it 2-0 here just before halftime. Lorenzo Janssen definitely putting to bed those demons from that quarterfinal of the Chatham Cup last season, where he did miss a penalty in the shootout. Since then, he's been pretty good. We'll give a quick praise here before halftime, but yet again, we've been well and truly on the front foot in this game. Auckland City, kind of like Western Suburbs, haven't done a lot this time. We've been a bit more dominant though, and going to halftime with a 2-0 lead. Just looking there, everyone's pretty fit and on a decent rating. So again, no subs needed. We should be on our way to the final, and hopefully getting the Chatham Cup back with a 2-0 lead. And 10 minutes into the second half, we'll get the first high of it, and there's a throw in here in our favour down the left-hand side. Of Mina does quite well there to float that one far post. Looking for Nah, can't quite find him, but Enrique, good work from him to play it back in for him. Now Clark has the ball just outside the box, plays that one in for Kevin Mina. He will pick up a goal. He must have been onside. That makes it 3-0, and Auckland City might be sinking without a trace here at the RTA, and we look like we're on our way to regaining the Chatham Cup. As I said, the final looks like it might be a bit academic, as long as we don't bottle things, which to be fair, we can do here at Cashmere Technical in big games, but Cox again can't quite lay a finger on that one. 3-0 at the hour mark. And in fact, only a few minutes off the back of that third goal, we're going to make our first sub here because Sam Clark's gone down to a red heart. Zhao Texera will come on for him. And going forward another couple of minutes from that sub, and it's a corner here in our favour. Mina, he will take this one. This one's lofted bar post. It's punched clear there from Cox. Doesn't get too good a hand on it. And Nah, from the edge of the box, makes the most there of Cox not quite being where he should be, and puts that one away. He is now on a hat trick, and that makes it 4-0. And we are certainly going to be in the final now, you'd imagine, of the Chatham Cup. Enrique, good touch back to Nah. All the bodies in the way of Cox. Bit too much there in the way, and that makes it 4-0 with only 20 minutes left. And in fact, only a few minutes on from that fourth goal, now we've got another player dropping down to a red heart. It's Kevin Mina playing well, but Luis Rodriguez can come on for him with 18 minutes left, and we have this 4-0 lead. And in fact, right off the back of that, a few more players are dropping down to red hearts. We'll just see who we're going to take off here. I think we might pull forward Ollie McGoldrick and take off Louis Evans, the worst of those rated on a red heart. Isaac Hughes will come on at centre back with our last sub. And we're just made into the last 10 minutes of this Chatham Cup semi-final. Now on the attack again here with a 4-0 lead. A bit of a deflection there off that free kick. Falls quite nicely. Luis Enrique tries to pound that one in on the volley. Top right corner, but unfortunately that one goes just high and wide. He's done well on his return to the first team with that injury to Pedro Bissi. But here, looking very dominant. 4-0 in front of Auckland City. Hopefully that's a sign of things to come in the championship phase of the National League. Nah, we'll square that one there. Looking for low. We play it backwards. Enrique will take on a shot. It comes off Cox. Can't quite keep it in his hands. That ball must be a little bit too slippery for him, and Luis Enrique caps off a good performance by putting that one away with a little bit of help from the woodwork to make it 5-0. And this is a bit of a thrashing here of Auckland City. Looks like we might have improved a bit with the transfers that we have made, even though we did let go of some pretty good players because of their wages. But thankfully, some of these new guys are fitting into the system quite nicely, in particular Torreitner, who picked up 2 goals in that game. But that is a very comprehensive 5-0 win, and you'd imagine we should now be red hot favourites to reclaim the Chatham Cup. So 2 good wins for us there during the course of today's episode, over a couple of days there to make our way through to the final of the Chatham Cup. As you can see, that should also help things out financially, and we really should be back to winning the Chatham Cup, making it 4 times in 5 years, because we're taking on Wellington Marist in the final at Kilburnie Park. Still not sure why all of a sudden we're allergic to hosting big finals, but they are in the second tier of the Central League and not doing very well. So very surprising they actually made their way through to the final at all. But you'd imagine we're going to pump them, and that should be pretty easy work for us. Might even be able to rotate for that game. So we should reclaim the Chatham Cup here in 2032. But that will do it for today's episode. Some interesting games during the Cup against 2 strong teams here in New Zealand in Western Suburbs and Auckland City. And we beat them pretty comprehensively. And if you enjoyed that one, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also consider hitting that subscribe button and turning that notification bell on as well. Now tomorrow, we'll probably come back once we make our way forward into the championship phase of the National League. You'd imagine we'll be going through as the Southern League champions. That Chatham Cup final can sometimes get pushed back because of the start of the National League Championships. I'm not really too sure what we'll come back for. Probably not that final, because we might win it by quite a few goals. So I think instead we'll come back, maybe play a National League Championship game, or we can come back for our last international window with the All Whites before we get stuck in to OFC FIFA World Cup qualifying, which, like the OFC Nations Cup late last week, is probably going to be pretty easy for us. We're taking on South Korea, that one from Waikato Stadium, and I don't think we've done a bus trip there yet, so maybe we can do that first up in tomorrow's episode. South Korea, quite a nice game for us because they're in and around us on the rankings, and we know that we can beat them. And off the back of that, a bit of a tougher test as we go away to play Egypt. That could be a bit tougher with those guys up in 30th on the world rankings. So I think a bit of All White section for you guys in tomorrow's episode, plus a bus trip up in the Tron. So until then, thank you very much for watching. Keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.